It's lights out, and we're racing in MotoGP here in Japan. It's a great start from that second place on the grid for Pedro Bagnaia. He's going to get the whole shot ahead of Pedro Agusta. He once again, no, Acosta wipes the nose of the world champion as they grab the front brakes into the first corner. Vinales gets a tap there, I think, from Frankie Morbidelli or Jorge Martin. Brad Binder's got away well from fifth. Gets the lead early on here, just as he did in the sprint yesterday.
And just as he did in the sprint yesterday, Mark, he is now up into sixth place thanks to his teammates off.
Yeah, going with Marquez then is the 89 of Jorge Martin. Pedro Agusta did not wait too long to strike and attack Bagnaia, who's for the first time. This is where he dumped it out of the lead late on in the sprint yesterday.
Brad Binder has got away well. He's in third, right behind Acosta. It was pretty early in the sprint yesterday that Acosta made his move. Binder nearly ran into the back of him there, and that's going to allow Bastianini through.
Almost let Marquez through as well. Binder gets awesome first lap for the World Championship leader, 11th to 4th.
And Binder, and that's Miller actually now coming through on Marc Marquez. Jack Miller came...
Bloody nose, aren't they? At the back end of this opening lap. We're on board now with Bastianini, who was inside the top three. Somebody's gone down in the final sector on this opening lap. It's the first lap that's led by the world champion at Bagnaia. Almost 3/10 clear of Acosta.
Alex Marquez and Mir has a moment there on the way through turn one. So Mir and Marquez down on lap one.
Riders to overtake, one of the hardest bikes to overtake in MotoGP these days is Miller and that KTM. That's why Bastianini is so eager to get on with this.
Jack Miller just braking as late as he dares. Bastianini wasn't exactly shy on the brakes there, but no way through on the KTM. And with Marquez now up the road and clearing off, having got past the Australian, Bastianini knows he's down.
Somebody's gone down. Oh, Acosta! I thought I had in my headset some scraping noise. And Pedro Agusta then, second time in 24 hours. The shark stumbles, the shark spills out of contention. Acosta then, here he goes through the victory corner, and there'll be no victory, no maiden success for Pedro Agusta as he tucks the front on the inside of turn 14. Once again, it's head in hands for Acosta, head in hands for Red Bull Gas Gas Tech 3.
To second place, Bagnaia's lead is 1.4 seconds from Jorge Martin, Binder and Marc Marquez, and you can see how much he was delayed there. Bastianini trying to get past Jack Miller. He's lost the thick end of a second up to Marquez ahead of him.
You never know what happened. We could get some rain here in Montegi. You don't see too many front-end washouts going on the inside, maybe. It's coming from a long way back is Marc Marquez with the classic block pass there on Brad Binder.
As is pulling further and further away from us, and Brad Binder looked a little bit wide there through turn number 10. Here's another look then at what happened at the start. And once again, Marc Marquez just making this first couple of corners look like he's riding the video game on easy mode.
Yeah, and Jorge Martin followed him through as well. This is Maverick Vinales, who started on the front row of the grid and just went backwards once again. The aero slicing in there into the back of Marc Marquez. This is looking back to Vinales, who himself had to pick up as Frankie Morbidelli got on the inside of the factory Aprilia ride. It was almost a dollar on circuit. 1:44.461, 4/10 quicker on that lap 5 that he was compared to Bagnaia. Martin 1.1 seconds behind the race leader. In turn 1.2 clear of Marquez.
Race direction is waving the white flag. Riders are now allowed to stop bikes. Has someone told them it's raining out there?
Wow, well this could be...
No, just letting you know there's no raindrops in pit lane.
Thanks very much, Sam. We're going to keep a very close eye skywards. And Bastianini then finally has found a way through on Brad Binder. It's taken him, what, 9 laps to find his way through on the number 33. In pit lane in our ears, we can hear there are bikes, spare bikes.
Vinales is down.
Maverick Vinales has gone down. I had a quick look at the left-hand corner of our screens to see if Bagnaia... Yep. On the brakes, Vinales goes. And just spinning out from underneath him goes the factory Aprilia. That's not what Vinales came for. Point for 9th in the sprint yesterday, and it's now a DNF in the main Grand Prix on Sunday for Top Gun.
Yeah, we can promise so much, as ultimately not amounted to very much at all beyond that one World Championship point he secured yesterday. Bagnaia just edging away a bit now once again from Jorge Martin as we now tick over half race distance in this Grand Prix. Bagnaia still in the 149s. A 45.0 for Jorge Martin, which is hardly slow, but Bagnaia was just keeping his World Championship rival at arm's length here.
Bastianini, we've got 1 second between Bagnaia and Martin, 2.8 then back to Marquez. big gap then also back to the beast. Bagnaia, phenomenal, still in the 1:44s. Another couple of tenths quicker than Martin on that previous lap.
Yeah, the battle which might soon start to boil up is the battle for third place between Marc Marquez and Enea Bastianini. You saw the progression on the bottom of your screens a moment ago. That gap is continuing to come down. Bastianini took another quarter of a second out of Marc Marquez for the first time since he cleared Brad Binder. Bastianini is now within 2 seconds of the 93, and if you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, it looks like it's come down even more. It's down to 1.2 seconds now through the first sector. Something's happened to Marc Marquez in the first sector because he's lost 7 tenths to the beast.
Yeah, he's made a mistake on the brakes then into the first corner. We're going to see a replay of it now. Drops at the right leg, trying to get that Ducati stable, but unfortunately he goes off to the car park here. Apex of the first corner, and that will certainly keep Bastianini interested. Well, it's just crept up to 1.4 seconds. Everything that Martin tries to do is immediately matched or bettered, isn't it, by Bagnaia. Not much between the two of them, but at the moment, very much in the ascendancy once again is Bagnaia.
Well, I think we're going to start to rub our hands together in the commentary box here, because we might be set for a rematch of what we saw yesterday. Probably the most that one was for second place yesterday behind Pecco Bagnaia, and it's a measure of the job Jorge Martin has done today, that he's 4 seconds up the road from this pair. Marquez yesterday was the attacker rather than the defender against Enea Bastianini. Role reversal potentially coming up today. Jorge Martin, you'll see it on his pit board as he comes across the line now with 3 to go. Bagnaia still doing 45.3s. It's Martin who's speeding up. He's just at a 45.0 with 3 laps still to go in this race. So the gap is now 9 tenths of a second. And if Bagnaia does have any extra pace up his sleeve, now's the time to find it.
40 for Martin. Has he got the late race speed? Can he find a way? Well, he's got to find a way, one, to get on par with Bagnaia, and then find a way to try and attack and get through on the Italian. He's going all in though, isn't he? Look how hard.
Jorge Martin, well, with the sun now shining above our heads at the Mobility Resort Montegi, nothing wrong with the confidence of the World Championship leader now, and if he can catch a back.
8:89, yeah, on the dashboard goes the message. Less than 2.5 laps remaining here in Montegi. Is this boiling up to a thrilling finale here, or is this situation only he knows inside that special autumn helmet here in the autumn sunshine of Montegi? Through the final corner, Bagnaia will go now. Just over 2 laps remaining, just under 10 kilometres remaining, as there is a 10-point gap at the moment splitting the top two.
Second, Bagnaia said, okay, that's close enough for me. I'm going to speed up a bit again. And the lead, now Paramac Ducati is concerned. We told you of Morbidelli chasing Brad Binder. He has now passed him for 5th place.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's clinical from Bagnaia. Just happy to let Martin come within striking distance and then just respond with kind, because he's now got that advantage back to over a second. Let's just check them as they come through the second sector, halfway around. Bagnaia has upped his pace. 1.4 seconds now is the gap, and surely now the championship.
And for Marc Marquez in 3rd place, this is really the battle for 3rd place, not just in the race, but probably in the World Championship too. They're 5 points apart in the advantage of Bastianini. If Marc Marquez can hold on to this, he would T3. This is the closest battle we're going to have, I think, on this final lap of the race. And certainly now that Morbidelli has cleared Brad Binder. And Marc Marquez, who's had some last lap battles over the years with factory Ducatis here at the Montegi circuit, he does not want another one.
Yeah, Honda's home crowd hero, showing Honda exactly what they're missing. He's had a whole bunch of podiums for HRC here, on course for his first in Japan on board the Ducati. Bagnaia, a 1:45.5 on lap 23, and I think that's it. He's a 1:46.1, which is by far Martin's slowest lap of this Grand Prix. He's in safety mode now. He's just bringing that bike home to 2nd place, limiting the damage. He pushed Bagnaia hard, but Bagnaia did not crack. And in a championship which has been littered with mistakes, as Bagnaia himself said, he hasn't blinked, he has not made a mistake yet in this Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Don't think we're going to see one coming.
Well, he forced one out of Pedro Agusta in the very early stages. Of course, this was the day that Pedro Agusta hoped was going to lead to a first MotoGP win that Martin is at to keep himself in the lead of the championship. Of course, Bagnaia has now taken more sprint wins this season than Martin, and he's now 3 or 4 corners away from a record for him, 8th win of the 2024 season. He's never taken more than 7. He took 7 wins in each of his 2 previous title seasons. He's 1 sector away from win number 8.
Best winning season in MotoGP in 5 long years. Last time we saw a rider win 8 wins in a season, well, that was Marc Marquez. As through the victory corner here in Japan, it has been a Montegi masterclass from reigning world champion Pecco Bagnaia. He led the Japanese Grand Prix. He resisted the early pressure from Pedro Agusta. He withstood the late pressure from Jorge Martin, and he takes the checker flag by 1.1 seconds ahead of the Spaniard. Bagnaia, Taka Nakagami with the big wheelie over the finish line as he says farewell and goodbye. Sayonara to the 18th place.